IG series assassin droids, like the Mandalorian's IG-11 or IG-88 in The Empire Strikes Back, were a series of enforcer and security droids so dangerous that they were largely outlawed in the galaxy. These droids were designed for one purpose: to eliminate targets with ruthless efficiency. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at these deadly machines to learn more about their capabilities and examine the Star Wars Legends story in which a group of IG-88s revolted and planned to kill all biologicals in the galaxy using the second Death Star. Let's get going. IG assassin droids were designed by the Hollow Mechanicals Corporation. This manufacturer also built other units like the IG-100 Magna Guards for the Separatist droid army. The design of the IG assassin droid was based on a standard protocol droid, but with a number of modifications that made them ideal for assassination. The most distinctive feature of the IG assassin droid is its thin body, which allows for maximum mobility and agility. They could squeeze through the tightest of spaces and move with incredible speed. Despite their thin and seemingly fragile appearance, these droids are actually incredibly tough and resistant to damage. They are designed to withstand the rigors of combat and are capable of taking a lot of punishment before they are disabled. Perhaps their biggest physical advantage was the ability to turn their head, torso, and arms 360 degrees, essentially allowing them to spin on a dime. This gave IGs an advantage when facing several adversaries in multiple directions at once. IG-11 demonstrates this in his first appearance in The Mandalorian. IG assassin droids were also equipped with extremely advanced targeting systems in comparison to other droids. This allowed them to quickly identify and eliminate their targets with deadly accuracy. While they are primarily designed for assassination, they are capable of performing a wide range of tasks. They can serve as bodyguards, gather information, or even engage in sabotage operations. The IG assassin droids' programming was among the very best, granting them an enhanced ability to adapt to new situations. This allowed them to often outmaneuver their opponents and stay one step ahead. Unlike many other types of droids in the Star Wars universe, many IGs are not tied to a specific master or owner. They are completely autonomous and are capable of making decisions and taking actions on their own. This made them ideal for bounty hunting and other solo operations, as they can function effectively without needing constant supervision or guidance. IG-88 and IG-11 are unarguably the two most well-known and notable models of IG assassin droids. So, let's talk about them. IG-88 first appeared in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. IG-88 and several other bounty hunters, including Boba Fett, Bossk, Dengar, Zuckuss, and Forlom, assembled aboard Darth Vader's Star Destroyer, the Executor, where Vader offered a bounty for the live capture of Han Solo and his companions aboard the Millennium Falcon. Later in the movie, an IG assassin droid's body can be seen in the droid melting pits as Chewbacca searches for C-3PO's parts. What we don't see in the movie is that IG-88 had placed micro-trackers on each of the bounty hunter's ships. The droid then awaited word for one of the trackers that Solo had been located. Of course, that came from Boba Fett on Cloud City. Fett soon found himself confronted by IG-88, with the two bounty hunters engaging in a brief but intense skirmish, with Boba Fett using his wits and disabling IG-88 with his own concussion grenades, blowing him up from the inside. Fett then told the Ugnaughts that they are welcome to whatever they wanted from the droid, which is where he is later seen in the movie. In canon, the infamous bounty hunter worked both for and against the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate and its leader Kira, and took on more bounties for the Empire. IG-88 was even once hired by one of Palpatine's most trusted advisors, Sly Moore, to attempt to kill Darth Vader, and even came very close to doing so. Now, before we get to IG-88 and the legend story in which he revolted and tried to rid the galaxy of biologicals, let's examine the Mandalorian's IG-11. This assassin droid was introduced to us in The Mandalorian Season 1. He actually appeared in early promotional material and was confused by many for IG-88 at first. Mandalorian co-creator Dave Filoni said rather than simply reusing IG-88, he preferred establishing a new character without any defined backstory and contributing something new to the Star Wars universe. Filoni noted that IG-88 already had a well-established character history in the Star Wars expanded universe. Like IG-88, IG-11 was also a bounty hunter, but operated out of the regulated Bondsman Bounty Hunters Guild. IG-11 had a built-in self-destruct feature, likely also present on other assassin droids, which was designed to prevent IG-11 from being captured and reprogrammed, or to allow others to discover its manufacturer's secrets. Like the Mandalorian Din Djarin, IG-11 took on the bounty of Grogu on Arvala 7. During this assignment, the two guild hunters teamed up and worked together to take out the Nikto mercenaries guarding the child. Once they had Grogu, IG-11 prepared to kill the child, telling Djarin the bounty specifically said the asset must be terminated. While Mando was told dead or alive, Din then shot IG-11 in the head while he was least expecting it. Sometime later, the droid would be recovered and fixed by the Ugnaught Queel. The droid would be reprogrammed to assist the retired Vapor Farmer. Now tasked with protecting Grogu, he accompanied Djarin and his allies to the planet Navarro after meeting them in Queel's moisture farm. Following the death of Queel, he assisted the others as they were pinned down by Imperial forces and helped them to escape. IG-11 later sacrificed himself via self-destruction in order to kill a platoon of stormtroopers to prevent Grogu from being captured. After his sacrifice, a statue of IG-11 was erected on Navarro, which brings us to The Mandalorian Season 3, which is currently airing, where Din wishes to repair the droid in order to use it to help him on the planet Mandalore. Alright, now that we've got the basics down and discussed the two most famous IG assassin droids, let's talk about the IG-88 Revolution, a threat which most of the galaxy never even knew about. The revolution started when IG-88A was created and activated on Halloween by Halloween Laboratories. During Project Flute Droid, IG-88 was based on the earlier IG-86 model used during the Clone Wars. IG-88A realized that the human scientists which constructed him were a threat to his primary programming as an assassin droid when they tried to shut him down after realizing that his sentience was too powerful to control. IG-88A then decided that all biological beings were inferior to droids, and then turned against his creators and killed them within seconds. He then continued to activate 3 other IG-88s, copying his consciousness into each one. He designated them IG-88B, who was the bounty hunter that we know from The Empire Strikes Back, as well as IG-88C and IG-88D in order of their activation. Then, together with a fellow droid, IG-72, who agreed to help them get off of Halloween, they escaped the facility, carving a swath of destruction across the galaxy. The IG-88s took off on a ship towards the Foundry world of Mechis 3. Their first step was to take over the world, one of the galaxy's largest droid manufacturers. They planned to use this planet's vast industrial complexes to construct a droid army for their revolution. But first, they had to deal with the biological beings on the planet. As they flew toward the planet in their ship, they simply hacked into the security system and transmitted a code to transfer their sentience into all droid minds. Before long, all of the planet's droids were under the control of the 4 IG-88s. It was here that the IG-88s took control of a servant droid, told it their plan, and instructed it on what to do. Thus, the first uprising of the droid revolution began. The droids on the planet followed their orders and rose against all of their biological masters, killing all 73 humans on the world within just 5 minutes. The entire planet was now in the hands of the IG-88s before they had ever even set foot on its surface. Their plan was to mass produce millions of droids with embedded sentience and then ship them out all over the galaxy. Thus, when the signal was given, all of these droids would turn on their masters, almost like Order 66, but on a galaxy-wide scale and against all living things. To make it seem as if nothing had occurred, the droids constructed doctored image systems so that when Mechis 3 was contacted, they would think that they were talking to an organic being. To all eyes, biological beings were still running that droid factory. All was going well, but the IG-88s feared that soon their luck would run out and that they might be discovered. They all agreed that they would take jobs as bounty hunters, with IG-88B as the face of the group, in order to lead the Imperial authorities away from their true objective. While on board Darth Vader's ship in The Empire Strikes Back, IG-88B learned that the Empire was building the second Death Star, transmitting this information to IG-88A before being killed by Boba Fett on Bespin in the story that we mentioned earlier. IG-88C and D would attempt to avenge IG-88B and attacked Boba Fett. C died when Fett fired every single weapon in Slave One's arsenal at him. D survived this crash and was killed by the smuggler Dash Rendar on Ord Mantell. That brings us back to IG-88A, who now knew of the second Death Star's existence and hatched a plan to take control of the battle station. The assassin droid intercepted the delivery of the Death Star's computer core using a squad of mechanical stormtroopers. Once that new core was installed and hacked by the IGs, IG-88A literally became the Death Star. None of the Imperial personnel knew, although Palpatine suspected his presence when a series of doors in his throne room opened and closed wildly, almost as if the droid was taunting the Sith Lord. When the Rebel Alliance attacked the Death Star in Return of the Jedi, IG-88A fired the super laser at the Rebel fleet, letting the Imperials believe that they were still in control of the space station, while he prepared to transmit his master control signal that would cause all droids to turn on their masters. However, he couldn't care less about this war between biologicals. He was only concerned with his plans, which were about to come into fruition. IG-88A was preparing to send out the signal to droids everywhere when Lando Calrissian in the Millennium Falcon and Wedge Antilles in his X-Wing shot at the Death Star's main reactor, causing a chain reaction which destroyed the entire space station and ended IG-88A's plan for galactic conquest. It really came that close. And yes, while this story isn't technically considered canon, but rather Star Wars Legends, it doesn't actually contradict anything that happened in the timeline. But what do you think? How cool are assassin droids, and what are your thoughts on the IG-88 revolution? Drop a comment below. If you did enjoy, make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you are new to join the Red Squadron. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you. Red 5, standing by.